Hey, how you guys doing? Let's do it to it. Oops, I got a button. This. Alright, let's do it to it. Okay. Let's do a puzzle rush. Well, tired today, just a tiny bit, so I'm hoping I'll do okay on this. Okay. Let's see here. Oh. Hmm. I'm thinking it's this here. Let's see. Rotates. Do my queen takes g6. F takes g6. Check. Oh. Bishop takes queen. There we go. So check, king h2, check, there. So takes, queen takes, takes. Let's see here. We could try to triple up with rook e8, knight f7, queen takes f7, queen takes, takes. Yeah, I'm thinking it's this. Let's Let's see, queen takes f3. Actually, queen check. Let me see here. It's queen d4. Let's try it. Okay. Let's see. What did I miss on this one? Okay, that's what I missed there. Let's see, what did I miss here? Alrighty. So that's not right. Because if rook takes here, and then I check there, and if rook comes back down, check. King comes over, and then mate. Okay, gotcha. That was an interesting one. That was kind of a tough one. Let's take a look at this one. So check. Okay. Let's give it another go. Get a little drink of soda. Give it one more shot. Alright. What am I missing here? Let me see. Is there... Is it knight h2? This is... Oh, bishop takes knight. That's gonna put a little drain on. I'm just gonna have to speed things up. So bishop takes knight takes. Bishop takes knight. Yeah. So check. Let's see. Queen d6, check. King g7. Oh yeah, this is it. Boom, boom. Knight takes, bishop takes, takes. If knight takes, then rook takes. Check, and then you win the queen. Let's see, pawn. Let's see. Say push. Ah, check. Oh, snap. Ah, drat. I think I had that one. I just overshot it. And we even had a lag there. I think we would have gotten more. Check here, and then you take. We even had a slight hiccup, and we still pulled 22. Sweet. Okay. Let's see here. Kaboom. So we would have gotten that one, not a problem. Let's do one more, and then we'll get busy. Come on. Fire on through. Come on. Mate. Let's see here. Queen takes. There we go. These are patterns. Let's see here. So if I play takes, so queen takes, knight takes. Or I could check. Ooh, that would threaten mate. Yep, mate. Takes, and then win the rook. See if we could break a record here. Let's see here. We could try rook. No, that would. Well, rook h5. I'm thinking rook h5. Oh, it's not rook h5. Okay. Takes. Check there. Trying to figure out. Is it check here? Yeah. And then you win the bishop. So takes there. Pawn takes, bishop no. Oh, I got it. This threatens mate. Boom. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Check. Actually, is it potentially rook takes a6? And then if bishop takes, yeah, it's rook takes a6. Alright, good. Oh yeah, this wins piece by going f6. Queen takes, knight takes, and then we actually pick up a piece here. Knight takes, bishop check, then we pick up the queen. Yeah. Let's set a record. So check. Who's there? Let's see. Check, check. Ah. So check there, intercepts there. Oh yeah. Let's see here. So that's check. Bishop takes, rook takes, queen. Actually, we could attack it, can't we? Oh, that. So that's not right. Okay, I missed this one. This is probably a center. Sometimes these, I just miss them. I'm thinking. Let's see here. Oh, we just win the knight. I didn't see that. Snap. That's blindness right there. And then we'll get started after this one. Check. Ah, okay. And then that's mate. Okay, I missed that too. Alright. To be on the lookout for check, check there. I think that, yeah. For some reason I didn't see this sacrifice here. Removing the guard. And then you pick up this, after the king moves over here, you actually pick up the knight. So you'd win the knight at that point. Okay. I'll be right back. I'll put on this so you can just watch for just a second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Gotta enlarge this so that you can enjoy it. A little bigger. I'll be right back. get on to our studies. Okay, dokie. Whoa, right. Okay, dokie. Get a drink and then we'll get started. Okay, e4, e6, d4, d5, bishop d2. This line is a pawn sacrifice from white. I would advise dodging the sacrifice. So he says go 97. If takes, queen g4, bishop takes d4, min rotates d4, queen takes d4, castle queenside. May actually favor black if you ask the computer. For us humans, white's developmental lead looks rather dangerous. Bishop d3. This is an interesting move. Because it's just a move. The definition doesn't automatically qualify as an error. White offers a rather suspicious pawn sacrifice, then follows it with a second one. Otherwise, queen g4 is met with queen takes queen. So it's c takes, so takes here. Is a interesting line. Or if queen g4 is what they were talking about, black can just castle at this point. Or if you transpose into e5, you can actually go into a linear at this point. You transpose into our previous chapter of a linear, which is an interesting line. So he takes at this point. E takes e4, and then bishop takes d4. Well, Bobby Fischer said that the pawn is worth a bit of trouble. In this case, black is only one move from castling, so the grab is quite justified here. Knight f3, not here, sorry. Knight f3. Interesting move because you're developing with tempo. Timid continued. This is Timid, J Timid versus V Vergara. Timid continued with a unmitting. Basically, he's going all out, berserking, offering a second pawn rather than backing down with knight c3, which is an attacker, which to an attacker is a bit like turning a 5-star hotel into nothing, basically. Basically that's what he's saying. So he's saying that if you played this here and you're an attacker, it's like, no. It's there was a cartoon called Ratatouille, and there was a cook there, and there was a rest. The little mouse, of course, it was involved. So the whole thing was when the when it got a bad reputation, it went from 5-star restaurant to a 4, and then when the cook sadly passed away in the cartoon, it went down to 3. So what he's saying, what the author's saying, if we want to use that cartoon Ratatouille, is that the position that White had went from a 5-star restaurant down to a 3-star restaurant, which does matter in restaurants. So that's why the the knight came out is we want to keep all of our stars. That's supposed to be a joke, by the way. Little English humor there. Okay, bishop takes d2 check. Queen takes d2. And then the timid opponent played bishop queen d5, which is actually a dubious move. He said that Black's last move is made with the thought if you don't start the fight, you won't lose one either. So why Black's like trying to get out of this mess that they got themselves into. But what's actually a slightly better idea, you know what? Get, as Jeremy Silman would say, get greedy. Get greedy, my friend. Become really greedy at this point, because otherwise you're so far behind in development. You have to get something for it. You're 2 pawns up at this point, and this would at least give some compensation. And Black is 1 move away from castling, so this would be justified if, like, let's see, does he have anything else? Yeah, if castles, knight bc6 to kind of get some development, g5, queen g5, knight g6, and this holds. This position holds for Black. Surprisingly, this would hold. And even if the rook, let's say, slid over here, you have queen a3, and you're still up 2 pawns. This bishop covers the b7 square, so you're not going to lose your b7, and you're going to be able to castle pretty soon. You're up 2 pawns. This is like heaven sent for Black, but you gotta have courage. Lots and lots of berserker courage. And some opponents just don't have the berserker mentality. It's not, you know what? Later on, maybe the more mature they get as a chess player, they'll get it. Berserkers also, the smart ones, it's not like the crazy ones that are in some of the movies. The smart ones know when to go all in. See, a berserker was a basically well-trained soldier that, you know what, they were all in. There was no retreat. There was only win or not win. And that was that's how the berserkers looked at it. And they were feared because they wouldn't give up. And that was the whole thing. They wouldn't back down. And as chess crunchers, we don't give up. We train and get better. Like this, in my opinion, this move here is slightly a give up move. This would have been a beautiful berserker, you know, all in. You know what? If you're gonna grab a pawn, go all in. Don't go passive when you don't get scared. That's the one thing. If you get scared in chess, you're gonna end up missing the most the best move, because you'll miss it because it's a sacrifice, and it puts fear into the heart of a player, and we don't want that to happen. that's the that's basically what we were talking about, is the heart of a chess player. So white actually at this point castle queen sided. Oh, sorry, I did it king side. Castle queen side to hold on to the pawn, and now to double attack. White is actually fully developed here. Now white gets a scary looking developmental lead for the pawn. Knight bc6. This is kind of a not very fun. Wise, the a pawn is actually poisoned, so if you were to take on this, it would actually be a double question mark blunder. You would be losing here. Allow bishop to b5. Knight b c7, excuse me, and then queen d8 would be mate. So it was actually poison. If this black saw all that and said, I will pass on that, my friend. I thank you for the offer, but I'm not going to fall for that trick. The queen c3. Now this is a painful threat on the queen. f6. a3 to now stop all that. This also makes a flight square for the king, so. And then e5, which this was a mistake by Timid's opponent. Premature. This move gravely weakens the light squares. Black looks okay after a5, queen a5, and can feel the tension. If the queen trades off, then the knight would more than happily jump and grab the queen, and then if the bishop checked on b5, the knight potentially can jump back. Even though it's in a pin, they could castle. A little too premature for the move. Knight, let me see here. Knight c5. I just wanted to make sure, because they had knight c5. I wanted to make sure I had the right spot. Knight c5. Black's queen is in danger of a check from the white bishop. Kaboom. At that point right there. Queen f7. Bishop c4. White all of a sudden is menacing black's king. It's now stuck in the center, and all of its guards are overtaxed and basically too weak to help out. Queen g6, rook d2. Queen takes g2, which is an interesting move. Now maybe a little bit too late to berserk. Maybe just slightly. This is what it says. Don't create uncomfortable or open positions when you're lagging in development. That's a warning that he says. So like this may look like a good move because you're grabbing a pawn, but remember, don't open up the lines onto your king if you're behind in development. Queen h3. Rotates g7. Now everything's just streaming in for a huge attack. More correct was actually, besides the queen takes, forgot to put this in, queen rook b8 is actually a lot more efficient of a move, because what you're planning on doing is potentially going b5 and a5 at the right moment and trying to get your own attack going. There's times to grab pawns, and then there's times not to grab pawns. Queen h6 here. Rook g1. b6. Knight e4. And then bishop d7. He's going to try his darndest to castle here. This is his last ditch attempt for castling. But castling would be met by bishop a6 with a devastating attack to boot. f8 was actually a necessary move here because it covers f6 and allows for the mobilizing of the queen. So queen e3, exclam. Queen f8 was played, but if queen takes, this is actually a mega double question mark blunder. It's actually losing. Knight takes d6, king d8, f takes the queen, and black's bishop is pinned and lost with knight to e3 or e6. That's why he played the queen back. G to d1, or to d1, knight f5, queen e2, knight c, d4, castle queenside is met by a6 check, king b8, and rook takes d7, winning the piece. Knight takes, knight takes. Alright, this is a combination that you need to find here. This is a combination that gets an exclam. It's white to move, exclam. White to move, exclam. If you thought about rook takes d4, great job, excellent work. It's come to the ability to sacrifice, since white's so far in developmentally ahead. White could actually sacrifice at this point, because now you're threatening a discovery. Queen d6, king d8 is forced, knight f7, king c8. He played queen f3 exclam at this point. I was wondering about, does this move do anything? And then queen there, but I don't think so, because I think he has c6 at that point. But I think it shuts everything down. Queen to f3 exclam is met by king b8, rotates d4, queen c5, rotates d7, rook g8, and then queen a6, and there's really no way to survive this, because if you play something like this, now you have check. You can actually come up and takes, check. If he comes over here, you actually have rook check. If he comes there, you have knight check maybe, and then pawn takes, check, king comes back, then you have rook good, I'm doing great. Yeah, now you have this, and then if rook checks here, oops, delete, rook checks here, king up. If queen check, not checks there, queen checks here, you have takes, check, king up, check. And I don't think there's any more checks. I think it's over at this point. He'd have to cover here, but then check, and then check, and then checkmate. So, okay. We're going to do a Magnus Carlsen endgame, then we'll do some puzzles. Okie dokie. I'm excited. I like doing in-games. They're so much fun. sure we have all this. Well, when you're having a fun time, you always gotta, say, you know, as they say, whistle as you work. You gotta hum as you go. Because it's a blessing of the Lord to be able to study chess. Perfect. This is it. Gotta find out white to move. Perfect. I don't have to change it. Excuse me. I'll make sure I spelled that right. There we go. It's Magnus to move. Okay, this is exactly for you. I wanted you guys to find the exclam move for white. I'll be right back. I'll give you some time. You're white. You're Magnus Carlsen, and you are now in charge. You find the exclam move that Magnus Carlsen would have played. I'll be right back. Try it one more time. Try it again. Give it another shot. It's not knight, it's not knight. Yep, boom. You got it. Good job. That's an exclam. Because what do we notice here? In this endgame, what do we notice? The center's closed, right? But think about this. If what do we know that the center's closed right now? See that? The center is all locked up. So what's good in a closed endgame? The knights, right? Knights are good in a closed endgame, and so Magnus judged that. Magnus judged that his bishop, even though it was a good bishop, is less valuable than the knight, because now he's got two knights, and if he could, Magnus Carlsen would probably trade his other bishop for that knight, and then go in for an endgame where he has two knights versus two bishops, and win because of the position's closed. Positionally, it's winning. Magnus gave up the bishop for the knight. We have joined the game before the endgame to illustrate Magnus' special feeling for which piece is preferred. Sorry. The analysis of the middle game will be lighter. Yeah. But remember that from what Jeremy Silman talked about, imbalances. Even if we don't want to do it, remember if the position calls for the trade of even our good bishop, then it's worth it. And that's the whole point. Also, that knight was an outposted knight. There was no way to get rid of that knight but by trading. So we got rid of the knight, yeah. The imbalance. An imbalance is what happens after queen takes. An imbalance is that white doesn't have a Dara squared bishop anymore, but he has a knight for the Dara squared bishop. And if we go back really quick, we notice that the only good piece for black is actually the knight on b6, and it's outposted, and it's also doing one thing. It's getting rid, if we get rid of this knight, the pawn on a4 becomes weak too. So by basically getting rid of the knight, the a pawn will end up becoming a weak, a4 will be weak. Knight takes a4. Kaboom, there we go. Rook takes c1. Rook takes c1. And then queen to b7. Now Magnus has a passed pawn, a passed b pawn, and all he has to do is get his knight out of the way and get the pawn rolling pretty soon. Knight d Knight d2 is an exclam move here. Because Magnus realizes that the queen side is basically all shut down. The queen side there's no way to make any progress over here. His idea is try to get his b pawn rolling, and black's position's all cramped and very unappealing. There's nothing that black can really do here. Bishop d8 trying their heart out to get some sort of counterplay, but there's nothing. Magnus did play a slightly dubious move, though. He played rook c6. This is a dubious move. There's no reason to trade off your rook for the bishop. Nice, but better was actually rook b1 exclam. This is a much better move, because what you're wanting to do is at the right moment play knight c3 and get this pawn pushed, and basically play bishop to bishop a6 and then push it, and then just keep pushing it and pushing it down the board till you queen. This does create a protected pass pawn, but it's not worth sacrificing the knight. It's just not worth it. g6 was actually played, and then knight to c4 was actually a mistake by Magnus Carlsen. This is actually a mistake. White would have been somewhat better with rook a6 at this point. Rook a6, and then trying to get the pawn pushed, and then get rook a7 and skewer the queen and the bishop. This would have been a much better path to have gone down. King h8, and then knight b3 would have also been okay too, because at this point you can win the a5 pawn. That works too. Oh, the reason they played g6 besides that move would be if the bishop took, then what would happen is the bishop would be able to, the pawn would take back, and at this point the queen would be overran by maybe better would have been to have played d takes c6 at this point. I think this is better. Let's take scope to actually see what because this creates two pass pawns. This would create two pass pawns, but this creates a connected pass pawn. Yeah, this isn't as good. This is actually bad. This is actually a better move here, because you're creating two pass pawns. I don't think so. Not sure. And so that's kind of the idea based on it. And what at this point the opponent did take here. C takes. This is actually an exclam move at this point. And then B takes C. The pawn on C6 is not really strong. Bye. So queen to B4, double attacking the knight. Exclam again. Black seizes the advantage. Bishop C2. Knight C stoops. Knight C7. And then G3. Okay. Be blessed. I'll see you then. Knight, let's see. Oh, B5. 93. 94. Yeah, everything's just flowing in. Queen D1. F5. Now Black's Carlsen has been outplayed. He is clearly lost, but he is an excellent fighter and puts up continuous resistance at this point. E takes F. G takes F. King G2. King H8. Black has many ways to win. Bishop B1. F4. Bishop E4. Or bishop Bishop B3. Knight B3. Knight takes F7 exclam. Magnus grabs the best practical chance and finds the tactical idea. F6 exclam. F3 exclam. If H takes, then Queen H5 would be a perpetual check. So Black tries to stop the perpet. And also this blocks the Queen's access to H5. King G1 takes King C2 check, or Queen C2 check, King H6, C7, Bishop takes C7 is an interesting move. I don't think it's best though. I think it's forced. Black has other ways to win, like Knight D4. Sorry, Knight D4 is an interesting move. C takes Queen. Retakes. Queen D1. Because now they're threatening mate. Knight E2 check. King H1. Rook C8 with the idea of coming right on in. Queen takes C7 and Knight to D4. They're saying that Queen E1 was the other Knight D4 was a winning move, but this is also a winning move too. Knight F1, Knight D2, Queen takes D check, King H5, G4 check. King takes G4. Oops. Queen G6. King F4. Queen H6. King E4. Queen G6. Rook F5. I see 3 check. King D4. Knight B5 check. King C4. Queen C6 check. B4. And white runs out of checks here. So knight D4. G4 check. King G6. H3. This is the whole idea based on see what white's trying to do with that line is he's trying to get into perpetual, but black has a route around perpetual, and that's what the other move showed, was that eventually white would actually run out of checks, and when that happened, mate would follow. And let's see here. So did I do that right? G4, 3. Okay, king, knight F5. Okay, knight C3 and A4 to get the pawn rolling. So there's no way to actually, in theory, win this. Queen D4. King H2. Magnus is putting up a pretty good fight. Rook H8 to actually attack here, and so that the queen can actually win the knight. This is pinned. I'm not, this is pinned. The pawn on H3 is pinned, that's what I mean. So H8, King G1, A3, the pawn's gonna promote. Bishop, Queen D7, he's trying to get some sort of perpetual with slipping in and trying to get perpetual, maybe even a win. An unpleasant move. Magnus keeps fighting in a dead lost position. Rook F8. Queen E6 check. King G7. Queen D7 check. Rook F7. Queen D8. And this is a double question mark. What do you think black played here? It's a double question mark. What do you think black played here? I know I usually have you find exclams, but this is a double question mark. Black to move. Double question mark. Black to move, double question mark. That's a good try, but think of it a more double question mark. That's still probably an interesting move. That still has perpetual. That's a good try. Try something even more simple. Try something even more simplistic. Try something even more simple. It's based on an endgame. It's based on an endgame. It looks winning. It looks so winning, but it's just wrong. It just doesn't go along with the plan. It's not the right move. It looks right, but it's just wrong in so many different ways. Queen D1. That's a blunder. This looks like a good move. I'll give you one more try at it. I'll give you one more try at it. This is kind of okay. A2. It's the surprising. It's rook e7. Surprisingly, rook e7 was actually the move that was played, and it's actually a blunder. He wants to. Magnus's opponent wants to stop Magnus's checks on going to G. See, this idea has some sense to it. It's a double question mark move because you're thinking it looks so natural, but the problem is it's losing. It's just losing. The whole idea is to get this going, block the checks. But Magnus plays a brilliant move. Magnus is white. White to move. Double exclam. This is a stellar move. This is an extremely stellar, yeah. This is a brilliant move. This is like out of this world brilliant move here. Let's just say it's a tide turner. This move here turns Magnus's lost game into a game where he can save it. This is like an amazing move. I know you'll find this. This is kind of a tough one to see. I didn't understand it. Okay, do you want to give it a shot? Play okay? You got it. You got it. Nice job. This is actually the move here. Double exclam move. Think about what the idea is. If this knight were to take, if the knight, I don't think this happened, but if the knight took, what's hanging? The rook. So now even though this is a perpetual. This is a perpetual. And if the knight doesn't take, let's say the queen takes, now you have knight takes f5, and if the king comes here, you have queen takes e7, and then if check, I believe we get a perpetual at this point. There's no way to well, maybe there is a way to get out. Hold on. I guess you could play here. So maybe if he played here, he could get out. But that's just that's one line. So so queen e7. Let's see what actually was played here. Luck shines on Magnus by this move here. He also was talented to make his luck count. He never gave up looking for chances to turn the tables. King g6 was actually played here. And of course, we already did a look at if knight takes, then the queen takes check. King h8 and queen f6 gives perpetual after, you just get perpetual. So king g6, knight takes f5, queen takes c3 is actually a mistake here. No, it's actually the saving move. It's the only move that in that position that's the saving, because you're counter attacking, which is hard to see in those moves. If king takes f5, queen takes f7, and it wins. Or queen f8. Queen f8. Ah, g6. Okay. And now queen takes e7. Okay, gotcha. And then after takes here, the game ends in perpetual. Because what will happen is if he plays there and he comes here, we actually come in, and then when he comes up, we come back, and we just go back and forth. So it'd be something like this. If he tried coming in, he'd come back here, we'd come there, and he'd come in here, and then we'd come here, back and forth like that to the end, basically, to 50 move rule. Knight takes e7, king f7. There's one more double exclam move. One more. White to move, double exclam. White to move, double exclam. Brilliant move. There's one more. There's one. This might be a little difficult, but I know you'll find this move. But it's Magnus, white to move, double exclam. You got it. High quality move. Great job there. Very nice work. Nice job there. Remarkably, a high quality move. Many players would settle for a perpetual check, being content with surviving a dead loss position. But Magnus is able to adjust very quickly and grab his chance. In a YouTube video on the adult Magnus Carlsen, Alexander Morzimvich said Magnus was the best in the world at keeping his composure when something unexpectedly happened. The queen went to b2, double question mark, losing move. Basically, this is the bone cruncher. He could have tried a2. He could have tried a2. Still a mistake. a2 is still a mistake. Then knight f5. e4. Queen e7 check. King g8. h6 check. King h8. Oops. King h8. f7 check. King g8. e8 check. King h7. g5 check. Knight g5 check. King h6. Queen e6 check. King g7. If you take here, I believe this is almost checkmate. Thinking this, is this checkmate? Let me see. I want to see if there's a mate. There might be. So check here. King there. Ah, king up. And the only moves here. And that wins the queen. Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to make sure. I knew there was something. There we go. So A2 was wrong. Let's make sure I have this right. King H7. Hold on. He can't play H7. Hold on. So let me make sure I got this right here. There. So he played F5, E4, E7 check, King G8, that's right. H6 check, H there, check, G8, E8 check, H7, G5, H6, E. Oh, G7. Okay, that was my fault there. I didn't see G7. Queen F. I thought it was H7. I'm like, that's impossible. King H6. I mean, King H6, yeah. Queen H7. King takes, and then H4 white mates wins the queen. Okay. The other move that potentially would have saved the game would have been exactly what Play OK said, which is Queen E2, double exclam move for black. G8 check, knight takes, E6 check, King F8, Queen takes check, King E8, Queen E6 check, King F8, King F6 check, King E8, King takes F3, or Queen takes F3, E4, exclam, F5, E3, exclam, Bishop B8, or Queen, that Queen B8 wouldn't work. What am I missing here? Oh, Queen F5. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. We gotta go back to Queen E6. Has to be what am I missing here? I'm trying to decipher through all this. It's kind of a tough one. Let me see, it says B8 after here. But how do I get to B8? Maybe it's just plain old B8. King F7. A7 check. G6. Queen B6. Check, but that can't be right. Ah, here's the thing. I think they had it marked wrong. There's the check. It's kind of marked wrong, I believe. King F7, A2, there we go. King G6, Queen B6 check. King H7, Queen C7 check. H6, Queen D6 check. So it's trying to get perpetual. D7 check, King F8. Oops, not E7, D7. King F8. Queen D6. King G8. And then white makes to make progress. So if after this move, if H4, Queen F1, Queen F1 double exclam is winning here. Queen G8. White will win with D and F pawn. So king takes, and then E6 check. F8 takes, check. G8. Queen D8 check. King H7. E7 check. King G8. G5 check. Endgames get to be pretty long. Now, Queen F5 check. King G8. And then Queen takes F3. A2 exclam. And then Queen G4 check. It seems possible to win the A-pawn with check on the A-file. If black places his king carefully, it's not possible. So King F8, Queen C 8 check, King F7, King B7 check, King G6, King H5 check, King takes, Queen F7 check, King G5, Queen G7 check, King F5, Queen H5 check, H7 check, King F5. Actually, can't. Hold on. King G5. And white can't win the A-pawn. If instead of A5, Queen B6, check, King F5, exclam at this point. Queen E6 check. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's make sure we have this now. d5 check, king e4, queen g6, king d4, bishop b6 check, king c3. Black arrives safely to defend the pawn. Okay. Wow, this was a long one. So b2 was losing h4, pawn h4 exclam. Takes check, king h3 exclam, g2 check, king g4. Now Magnus is doing a really cool thing. He is running his king up the board, and he's going to set up for a mating net, queen d7 exclam here. e4 check, king g5 exclam. This is so beautifully played. So beautifully played. Oh, not g5, sorry, it's h5. No, it was g5, my bad, sorry. I did have that wrong. So that is an exclam mark. Queen e3, and then h5. Magnus finds shelter, queen f3, g4. There's no more checks, and white will soon deliver mate. Queen f6, g6 check, king g8, king h6, queen takes h, knight takes h4, turns into a queen, and then g7 is checkmate. In this game, Carlsen surprisingly and correctly gave up the bishop for the knight, but then made a questionable exchange sacrifice. Later, he resisted well in a lost position by making good tactical moves. Then, when a chance arose, he was able to change gears and find a great tactical win. We'll do 6 puzzles, and then I got a log. But I need a drink real quick. Just give me a second. That's good. Good tea. Alrighty. Okay. Queen F8. G8. Oops, did I make a mistake here? Oops, sorry, you're right. My bad. I made a boo-boo there. Check. Let's see. Okay, there. Yep, you're right. Yep. Yep, good job. So I had to make sure I had set that up right for you all to find the correct move. Okay. There you go. Yep, you're right. The other one was Queen F8 check. Oops, sorry. Queen F8 check. King takes. King takes. King takes F6, and then Queen to H8 mate. Yep, you're right. That's right. That was the one for the past one that you were talking about. That's the one you were talking about. About the other mate besides the one you had. Queen here, Queen H6 takes, and then there's mate. There we go. I just had to solve it from the book. I have the book in front of me. Yep, great job. That's funny. Remember, it's all about fun. Okay. White to move, mate 2. Okay, two versus one. Come on. That is funny. You're, let's see if you could tie then. Let's see if you could tie there. Okay. It's on. Go. There you go. You still got enough to tie. You have to get these two right though. Otherwise, okay, go. Mate and two for white. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's see if you can do a tie break. See if you can tie at this point. Comes down to this one. You gotta be ready. And then I'll give you the go ahead when it's time to start your engines. Oops, let me make sure I got this right. Get ready. Get set. Go. It's all you. That's it. All right. Yep. There we go. Okay, we'll call it on that one. That's good. You guys tied. Nice job. You did great there. That was perfect. Great comeback. You guys were co-champions. Yeah, you did great. Like that on the Singfield Cup, Magnus, Aronian, and Fabi tied for first. So we're gonna call this you both tied for first. So congratulations on first place. Do you have any questions? About like any end games that I can answer? Do you have any questions? Okay, perfect. I'll thank you all for logging on. You know what? Great job on the tie. You know what? It shows you that when you focus down, you could do a lot of things. So remember that every long journey begins with one small step. And don't give up, get up. And remember to treasure your victories and learn from your losses. And remember that mistakes do not define you. It's how you handle the mistake that defines you. And you have to take what you know and then apply it and be willing to do something with it. And remember that plateaus are a part of life, and that you you don't want to stay in the plateau, but for a while until you improve. The plateau is kind of an area that you got to stay in. Don't be satisfied there, but just remember that if you put enough time, if you put more time in and work, and you always have the Lord Jesus in your life and the Holy Spirit to help you, you'll jump to the next plateau and or the next valley, and then eventually you'll get to the mountaintop. And when you do, treasure that, because there's more valley to come. But when we see him, it's going to be the greatest time when we get to see the Lord. But remember to always put on your chess Grandmaster glasses. And let me see, did I forget anything? You become what you think about. So if you think positive thoughts and you think on the Lord Jesus always, and basically you focus on the studies that he has for you and the talents that he's given you, you can't but succeed. And what we have to always remember is that, to much is given, much is expected. That's the Spider-Man kind of that his uncle actually told Spider-Man that with much power comes much responsibility. So when you have all this knowledge on board, and the Lord Jesus has given you a great gift in that area, remember to share it with others. Because otherwise you're like the talent of the one talent person. There is the 1, the 2, and the 5. The 1 didn't share their talent and to make another one. The 2 did, and the 2 made 4. The 5 did, and the 5 made 5 more. But when it came to the time that the Lord of the manor was to come, the one made up lots of excuses for not using their talent. But in the end, the 1 lost their talent, and it was given to the 10. And that I don't want that to happen to you, my friends, that the Lord's given you a great talent in chess or whatever talent that he's given you, whatever field, and that in a moment you lose it all because you don't share it. And that's the cool thing about, that's why Chess Cruncher TV is here, is to share the love of the Lord and the love of chess. And I'll leave you with that. And you know what? Remember what we always say as a chess cruncher. We hang up our coat. We hang up our hats. We sit down and study when most won't. Chess crunchers do. And that makes all the difference. And as Wesley So says to the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And what we're going to do is continue to keep pushing forward on the French defense, end games, and some puzzles. Great job. Go Team Chess Crunchers. Chess Cruncher. Hoorah, be blessed. And remember, we have to always do the Hannibal Smith. What did Hannibal Smith say? A great plan is a plan that your opponent does what you want inside of the chess game or whatever thing you have them directed right to where you want them to go. And then when that happens and you get a victory, you could say to yourself, you don't want to say that out loud because you don't want to make you don't want to hurt your opponent's feelings because that's not part of chess. You have to say inside, I love it when a plan comes together and all glory goes to the Lord Jesus. That's also the main thing too. So 2 thumbs up, hoorah, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.